share with us a bit on what the company does, who are your customers, the type of categories, so that our investing audience has a good picture of what your business is all about.
Yeah, that'd be great. And thank you for having me, Carol. I think as you described earlier, we're right at a peak season for our company. We're right in the middle of all of the payments that run through the economy, not just here in the US, but around the world. And as you think about what ACI does, it's the infrastructure of payments. You know, we know around computing, there's cloud, there's data centers, there's the edge. Around payments, we are the infrastructure that does that across all the banks, all top 10 banks, 60 of the top 100 banks, also across 3,000 customers here in the US that need bill pay technologies. If you paid your US tax bill, you've probably used our platform, your insurance bill. And then a big, this weekend actually is when you talk about friendly fraud and the uptick we're seeing there. We service 80,000 merchants globally with our technology around payments there. And as you step back, where ACI really comes in is a mission critical layer of software and as a service technology that allows them to scale, provide the reliability, the fraud detection that you need across those. As you think about what we can do across those platforms, it is perfect to come in, on the Wednesday here before Thanksgiving here in the US. Like I said, it's a big peak season. As we look at the transactions at this time of the year, they were up more than 25% last year. We're expecting that to happen again this year through our platform. There's lots of fraud that can come along with that. It's one of the areas we're infusing AI into that for these merchant providers. As you think across ACI, you mentioned almost $5 billion market cap, almost $2 billion in revenue, that we have globally with a very healthy performance underneath of about $500 million in EBITDA. I joined just under 6 months ago, so relatively new to the team here. And think about what we do. It's really a big reason on why I joined. I was excited to come in the middle of a company that's mission critical to everything we do around payments and the ecosystem and the economy. But the other equally important part of why I was excited to come was we're a 50-year-old company that's rapidly transforming. About 2 years ago, we had a new CEO come in, Tom Warsop, and he's really jolted the company, increased our growth about 2x. We grew 10% last year. We're on track to 9 to 10% growth this year. And as you look at that, the other big jolt was innovation. We have a new platform that we're bringing out around cloud native. It's our ACI Kinetic platform. And those were two big things that got me excited to join this team and the transformation we're on.
Thanks, Bobby, for joining us here. Nina here. Just wanted to actually follow up on the data that you have from your business. We earlier talked here on the program about the K-shaped economy and the divergence between sort of affluent spenders in the US and those with lower incomes. Is that something that's reflected in your numbers, and what are the trends telling you for this holiday season?
Yeah, I think good question and good to see you again, Nina. I think underneath of that, and let me provide the global scale of ACI. We operate in about 90 countries globally, and our banking business is actually about 75% outside the US. And as you think on how that's developed, a lot of it has to do with, Nina, how we're servicing economies that are either undercredited or underbanked, and giving them the ability to do digital payments through a debit transaction or other types of electronic payments is really important to our culture and our mission. So as we go do that, we're seeing good demand across Asia, Latin America, for these different payment schemes and real-time payments to provide to those folks. As you think about this season, I mentioned this is a peak season. We think the shift more and more towards digital payments is continuing to happen. We see that through our platform. When we last talked, I mentioned on a year-to-date basis, we're growing 12%. So really nice demand, and that's across both of our businesses here in the US or internationally as well, as you look across our payment software business.
Yeah, just curious, actually, do you see this growth in buy now, pay later transactions that we've seen across platforms is also that's showing in your business?
Yeah, and I will say, our business is largely agnostic to how you want to pay, but that is a good reason why to use a digital electronic payment versus, let's say, cash. And the ability to do that, it's one of the reasons we're taking good market share within our bill pay business. This is a business that we've gotten it from lower to mid-single up to market share levels at growing 12%. And to the point of your underlying of your question there, that is providing more payment types is why a lot of customers in this space are choosing to no longer write their own bill pay technology in their app or their website, but come to a leader like ACI to do that for them. That can give them more options around pay later, use credit, use other forms of payments as well.